कृष्ण दशम्याम् अभिनव गुप्ता त्वम् इमम् अकरोत् येन विभू भव मरुसन्तापम् शमयति झटिति जनस्य दयालुः
रविनाथमनाथ शरण्यं तन्मय चित्तदयानिवन्दे
व्याप्त चराचर भाव विशेषम् चिन्मयमेकम् अनन्तमनादिम्
सोनवतन पोषयु तावलुत यावन महारुत शाल मारुक कोशयु मोस मन हुन जोशयु नल पोशाक पोशयु सोनवतन लोल न्यायन हुन शुगुल सर पोशयु फुल गुने पोषयु ऐसे वतन गुलजार यु सन बुद्धिस गिंद गिंद चुखुत मुत लाल नई बस चार यु पोषुन सब जार यु सोन वतन नवजवानी गुण कुशुन कुमार यु बाल बानुक यार यु ऐसे वतन जामवार यु ओंग जी पुच नित सुचने तलकुड़ बेटरो गुलजार यु रेश मुख शहजार यु तूने हच पेट वर्ग छानन खुन मुत जन लोक चार यु आसनुक आमार यु West Michigan, West Jimmy, Pro खुश मगर अंदाज है दिल अच्छे अस नो साज़िब अच्छे अस नो साज़िब अच्छे अस नो साज़िब
माँ, सृष्टि का आरंभ, माँ, गृहस्थी का स्तंभ, माँ, ममता की छाँव, माँ, खुशियों का गांव, माँ, प्यार का सागर, माँ, शीतलता की गागर, माँ, तुम ही हो जननी मेरी, तुम ही जीने का आधार, तुम ही से रोशन दुनिया मेरी, कैसे प्रकट करूं मैं अपना आभार। बस कहना चाहूंगी यही कि हर जन्म मुझे मिलता रहे बस तुम्हारा प्यार। आई लव यू माँ, हैप्पी बर्थडे। बहुत बहुत पश्त।
Happy birthday to you, auntie.
बहुत बहुत पोस्ट आंटी।
Namaskar, Nani Mama. A very happy birthday to you. Here's your birthday gift.
महागनीशमिति दितत्युत्सादन नितब कर है चान्यरादन पर लगयो चान्यन पादन नितब कर है चान्यरादन महागनीशमिति दितत्युत्सादन चाय ध्यान मन छेदीछ गला शुद्ध मन सपदन मंगल बनन नितब कर है चान्यरादन महागनीश मिति दितत्युत्सादन नितब कर है चान्यरादन। पार्वती माज हुंच टोट संतान महादेवंद तुई से वरदान
पार्वती माज हुंच टोट संतान महादेवंद तुई से वरदान
महादेवंद तुई से वरदान प्रतकारस छे गोडचे गारन नितब कर है चान्यरादन महागनीश मिति दितत्युत्सादन नितब कर है चान्यरादन।
अनि सा ग म प ग म ग सा ग सा नी 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 धा नी नी सा अनि सा ग म प ग म ग सा ग सा नी अनि सा गा गा
काम क्रोध मोह तै लोकालतम अज्ञान गट्टी मंस मकलावतम
काम क्रोध मोह तै लोकालतम
अज्ञान गटे मंज मोकलावतम नाशे छुकरान अंधकारन नितब कर है चैनरादन महागनीश मिते दितुत्सादन नितब कर है चैनरादन निर्मल पन्नी गरे प्राराम लोल पोषक छै से छाराम
निर्मल पन्नी गरे प्राराम लोल पोषक छै से छाराम
लोल पोषक छै से छाराम मुख से हावस छस चलादन नितब कर है चैनरादन महागनीश मिते दितुत्सादन नितब कर है चैनरादन पर्प लगयो चानन पादन नितब कर है चैनरादन महागनीश मिते दितुत्सादन नितब कर है चैनरादन नितब कर है चैनरादन नितब कर है चैनरादन नितब कर है चैनरादन
Hello everyone, I am Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri. I am a filmmaker and an
Volume.
author. I live in India. Today I am going to tell you a story of a place which is called Heaven on Earth, and politically it's called Kashmir. Kashmir is in north of India, surrounded by Afghanistan on one side, Pakistan on the other side, and communist China on the other side. The whole world today is interested in knowing the story of Kashmir. 5,000 years ago, it is believed that this was heavenly abode. All the gods lived in Kashmir. Many years later, when the tyrants came with some poets in their caravan, they called it heaven on earth. Greeks called it cradle of civilization. A whole lot of world recognized Kashmir as the knowledge center. Some of the greatest philosophers, writers, metaphysicists, biologists, social scientists, grammaticians, people from the field of art, they lived in Kashmir. Then what happened to Kashmir? If it was known as the knowledge center, as the cradle of civilization, as heaven on earth, why it is one of the most disturbed and violent regions in the world? Because somewhere in 1300s, some tyrants and invaders from the Middle Eastern part of the world came to Kashmir, and they were loaded with all kind of weaponry and armory. With the help of the knife and the power, they forced these native Hindus of Kashmir to convert into Islam. And when they refused, they started beheading them. And slowly, out of fear, a whole lot of people converted and a lot of people fled Kashmir. But still, the native Hindus were living over there. But 33 years ago, in an independent India, in 1990, on the night of 19th January, when they declared that Kashmir is an Islamic republic, and they started raping women, killing small babies, killing innocent people, old people. That was the time when Kashmir became a theater of blood and violence. That's when whatever limited few Kashmiri Hindus were there, or Kashmiri Pandits as they are locally called, fled and left. In fact, they were forced to leave Kashmir, which can easily be defined as ethnic cleansing or, in reality, a genocide. And since then, whenever these Kashmiri Pandits or Hindus go to Kashmir, they are systematically and regularly being killed. It is unfortunate that the issue of Kashmir is not in the global mainstream and the world doesn't know much about it. And that's why I made a film called The Kashmir Files, which started making people aware. But the ethnic cleansing and genocide of Kashmiri Pandits by religious fundamentalists, militants, separatists, and terrorists is not the only story. There's another part of the story. And that is the story you'll be proud to know. These are the only victims of any genocide who never resorted to violence as an answer to violence. They peacefully conducted themselves. Instead of being reactionary, they educated their children. And today, Kashmiri Hindu community is one of the most educated, one of the most successful, one of the most independent, self-reliant ethnic community in the world. Be it the field of philosophy, science, art, philanthropy, social service, politics, defense, research, poetry, cinema. In every field, you will find some Kashmiri Pandit shining and extremely successful out of their own merits. The global Kashmiri Pandit diaspora has non-stop raised awareness about this genocide in the world, but being extremely busy people, successful people, they have not been able to garner the kind of awareness this issue deserves. I dare to make a film on this issue, which became the biggest blockbuster ever in Indian cinema, which also raised awareness globally. But then my life is threatened by these religious fundamentalists and terrorists. Dear friends, in a world where these terrorists with guns or terrorists with the power of media who are trying to shut every sane, logical, compassionate human voice. So, if you really want to do yourself a favor, I would suggest you go and do some research on the Kashmiri Hindu genocide issue of 1990. If you don't know, if you don't find enough information, try and find some Kashmiri Hindu or Kashmiri Pandit in your locality, in your office, or through somebody. Talk to any Indian, he will introduce you to one. I can guarantee that somebody in his or her family must have been the victim of this, the most gruesome, inhuman, tragic genocide in the history of humanity. During the research for the Kashmir Files, we interviewed hundreds of victims of Kashmir genocide, where the indigenous inhabitants of Kashmir, the Kashmiri Pandits, not just lost their lives and homes, but also their dignity and homeland. They wish to return to their homeland, Kashmir, and enjoy a secure and peaceful life. They want to take up jobs and run businesses and contribute towards economic prosperity of their homeland exactly like any other human being. As of now, the community remains internally displaced, and therefore I appeal to all of you to help support the cause of Kashmiri Pandits in Kashmir. Thanks for listening to me patiently. If you need more information on this issue, you can write to me on vivekagnihotri.com, or you can contact me through direct messages on Instagram or Twitter on my official handle. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just to let you all know, this video was requested by US Congressman and Senate, and the governor of Florida has constituted a four-member panel to get all information about our genocide. So big round of applause for him. Namaskar, everyone. On behalf of my team, GKPD, Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch, our partners, and the entire Kashmiri Pandit community, I welcome all guests, speakers, and respected delegates from across the globe and those watching us live through social media to this global Kashmiri Pandit Conclave at this prestigious Sai Auditorium, Lodi Road, New Delhi. I'm Nirja Sadhu, originally from Ranawari, Srinagar, and currently living in New Jersey. I'm one of the volunteers at GKPD. In the long, long history of Bharat, Kashmiri Pandits, as Vivekji mentioned, have contributed immensely in every field, be it education, be it music, be it Natya Shastra, and above all, spirituality. Kashmir, that was once considered cradle of civilization, is now bereft of Kashmiri Pandits, barring a few thousand who chose to stay back and are under constant threat every day. The peaceful, deeply patriotic community have been genocided in a democratic and independent India, and it still continues. Just this past year, several of our community members and Hindus were brutally killed in public view. Our brothers and sisters employed under the Prime Minister package have been on the road for the last 6 months. Their only ask being right to live. In these past 33 years, we have lost 2 generations. While they struggled through the turmoil, built a life from scratch, amidst total apathy from the administration, any administration and every administration that came in power, and justice system as well. Most of us continue dealing with PTSD, anxiety, and other ailments due to the trauma which was inflicted on us and never got addressed. We have a huge, huge challenge of keeping our youth rooted in our culture as they are losing physical and emotional connect with Kashmir. And the way the population is declining, our community may soon be extinct. The aim of this global KP conclave is to brainstorm and devise a way forward with the consistent efforts of GKPD, JKVM, and other organizations across the globe, and the movie Kashmir Files by Vivek Agnihotri, which gave us a new and renewed approach. Our story has reached far and wide. While it's important to create awareness, our basic rights as children of Ma Sharada and Bharat need to be restored. I'm one of the survivors of KP genocide. While I feel blessed to be here speaking in front of you today, my heart is full of sadness for all those martyrs of our community, armed forces, security agencies, and their families who have yet to get any justice. Praying and wishing that there is a resolve soon. I once again thank you all for being here with us today and joining this historic conclave, and those who are watching us live on social media. With that, we begin the inaugural session of this conclave, and I would like to invite Sri Dilip Mattu, Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch President, Dr. Surinder Kaul, Sri Utpal Kaul, Sri Preetosh Wali for lighting of the lamp.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः दीपज्योति परब्रह्म दीपज्योति जनार्दनः दीपज्योति परब्रह्म दीपज्योति जनार्दनः दीपोऽर्तु मे पापम् सन्ध्यादीप नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषा प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषा प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि बुद्ध्याश्च अभेद्यं प्रच्मे सदा शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः रविरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदये भवेत् रविरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदये भवेत् यस्य दृष्टिः दीप तस्य नास्ति निर्गता शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा
निःशेष जाय महान, निःशेष जाय महान।
Big round of applause for these young, talented Kashmiri bachas. I would request everyone to stand up for our national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Jai Hind! Vande Mataram! Jai! 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 Thank you, sweethearts. Thank you so much. We are going to now play a short video clip that has been sent to us by Isha Foundation, Sadhguru's foundation. It gives an insight into what they are doing, and they want to create certain awareness amongst all. So could we have the clip, please?
In the next half hour, you're going to meet a man who has a devoted following across India and indeed around the world. While yoga and meditation are at the core of his teachings to promote individual growth, the work of the foundation covers conservation, education and health. And you'll find him astonishingly pragmatic on a range of very modern-day problems. Let's meet Sadhguru.
For the very first time in the history of humanity, we have the necessary resource, we have the necessary capability, we have the necessary technology to address every human problem on the planet. Even 25 years ago, we couldn't have dreamt of it. But the only thing that is missing is consciousness.
Today, the spotlight is on a project called Green Hands in India.
We started a mass campaign and 6 years I spent planting trees in people's heads. That's the most difficult terrain, believe me. And now in the last 6 years, we've been transplanting it, and that's happening much more easily.
Action for Rural Rejuvenation is mainly aimed at rejuvenating the human spirit.
This is an incredible movement that is started in Tamil Nadu. We want to see that this happens to the whole country. The idea is not necessarily about developing competitive sport, but the important thing is to bring the spirit of sport and revitalizing rural societies.
ईशा आउटरीच को वर्ष 2018 के लिए राष्ट्रीय खेल प्रोत्साहन पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया जाता है। सद्गुरु जगदीश वासुदेव संस्थापक ईशा आउटरीच।
English and computer skills are very essential to make these children come out of the hopeless economic and social pit they are in.
If you could first tell our viewers what is the idea behind it, initiative, insight, which is more specific towards entrepreneurs.
Whatever the nature of your business, ultimately, it is all about human well-being.
Isha Foundation, a non-religious, non-profit public service organisation headquartered in southern India.
We've engineered the outside world in so many ways, but we've done nothing about this one. If you want to know well-being, in is the only way out.
This is what I want to teach you too. That is, you can be completely intoxicated without any drug, just on life. This is a shift from wine to divine.
How can you love one and hate the other when the same divine exists in all? Spiritual process is not about looking up or looking down, it is about turning inward. See, the only thing that I'm really good at is just this. I can just make the air around me just crackle with energy. Adiyogi is the source of yoga, the first yogi.
Adiyogi will inspire many generations to take up yoga. One truly remarkable thing that Sadhguru has done is, he has made yogis out of ordinary common people.
We're tracking a mammoth movement, an incredible rally starting from Kanyakumari, reaching up to the Himalayas, with the sole purpose of rejuvenating India's rivers.
Every state is responding. This is concurrence and this is wonderful.
I'm very happy that Sadhguru has taken up this cause. It should also become a people's movement for our own survival, for the survival of our children.
We are also launching another campaign called Kaveri Calling. These 83,000 square kilometers of Kaveri basin, we want to bring it back, at least 1/3 of it, back into some kind of green thumb.
ಪರಿಸರ ರಕ್ಷಣೆಯ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ನೀಡುತ್ತಿದೆ.
சத்குருஜி அவர்கள் எடுக்கின்ற முயற்சிக்கு எங்களுடைய அரசு துணை நிற்கும்.
The whole purpose of this moment is to first to bring this home, that when you walk up on the soil, you know it is the source of your life. Keeping it alive is the most important thing. Will you make it happen? All of us come from the same soil. All of us eat of the same soil. All of us die and go back to the same soil. The soil is a unifying force. Soil is not our property. It's a legacy that's come to us from previous generations, and we must pass it on as living soil for future generations.
Dear Sadhguru, one of the world's voices and leaders in soil conservation and land.
It's extremely important. It must be a single-point agenda, incentive-based agenda. I don't want this COP15 to end as one more convention with more paper and more paper. This must end with concrete action, and action in such a way that it is implementable. We are launching a campaign called Youth and Truth in the month of September. Youth and Truth, unplug with Sadhguru. Ask whatever you want.
I want to know the truth about ambition.
Technology.
Why do we have to wear a tie or a proper dress code in our placement?
What is the meaning of competition both for individuals and society?
For every one of you, your life is precious, isn't it? This precious life, where are you going to invest it? What is it that will be worthwhile today and worthwhile after 50 years for me to invest myself into? You invest your life into that. This will be a life of fulfillment.
He has a different swag. He's kind of Buddha to us. Sadhguru has become this new friend of youth.
One important thing about Fashion for Peace is shifting back to natural fiber as much as possible. The way we dress is destroying the world. Textile has become the third largest polluter on the planet. The polyfiber, it has entered our bodies, it's entered our water, soil, our food cycle. This is not just about fashion, this is going to make millions of people's lives. If you have to describe yourself in one word, would you consider wildlife as two words or one word?
President Pranab Mukherjee felicitating his Sadhguru for all his spiritual contribution.
In the next half hour, you're going to meet a man who has a devoted following across India and indeed around the world. While yoga and meditation are at the core of his teachings to promote individual growth, the work of the foundation covers conservation, education, and health. And you'll find him astonishingly pragmatic on.
Well, as you all know, we were expecting Sadhguru here physically, but due to certain pressing matters, he could not. But he expressed his deep regret and wanted to be with us. So he is going to be virtually with us at 10:30. So between that time, we can have Vanshika present another of her favorite songs. Vanshika Bhatt.
नमस्कार मारा सायरनी। ये जो कोशुर बर्थ इसके बोल कुछ इस प्रकार है। मोसूम शुर गैसे खोने लल नावन कथ कर नावन कोशुर पॉइंट टेल्स अस द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ आवर लैंग्वेज आवर कल्चर। तो इसकी कुछ पंक्तियां मैं आपके सामने यहाँ गा के पेश करना चाहूंगी। मोसूम शुर गैसे खोने लल नावन मोसूम शुर गैसे खोने ललनाहुन कथ करनाहुन कशिरपट कथ करनाहुन कशिरपट खान मोल सुलहुन मंजिल सद्राहुन खान मोल सुलहुन मंजिल सद्राहुन कथ करना उनका शिरपट कथ करना उनका शिरपट मौसम शुर गचे खोइने ललनावुन वतनी गुरिस सैत वतनी थावुन वतनी गुरिस सैत वतनी थावुन कदमास बर तसलोल कदमास बर तसलोल लोते लोते जीर दिथ ब्रोह पकनावुन लोते लोते जीर दिथ ब्रोह पकनावुन कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट मौसम शुर गचे खोइने ललनावुन लोकटिस गचे लोकट लागुन लोकटिस गचे लोकट लागुन कथे कथे सुत करनावुन जान कथे कथे सुत करनावुन जान गिंदनस मंज हिचनावुन गिंदनस मंज हिचनावुन कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट मौसम शुर गचे खोइने ललनावुन ये छुखाबन हुंग असवुन तबीर ये छुखाबन हुंग असवुन तबीर कोशुर नादिम तरसुलमीर कोशुर नादिम तरसुलमीर कशिर जेवी छुई मरतब दावुन कशिर जेवी छुई मरतब दावुन कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट मौसम शुर गचे खोइने ललनावुन मौसम शुर गचे खोइने ललनावुन कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट कथ करनावुन का शिरपट। धन्यवाद।
Do we have Sadhguru? It's live now? Okay. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. On behalf of GKPD, JKBM, and the entire Kashmiri community, I welcome you to this global KP Conclave. We are honored and immensely grateful to you for being here with us today and look forward to your keynote address and gain from your spiritual wisdom. Sadhguru, with your permission, may I invite Dr. Surinder Kaul on stage to present objectives of this conclave. Dr. Kaul is our guiding light and the brain behind GKPD, a civil society movement across countries and continents, and an inspiration for generations to come. Dr. Kaul.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru ji. Hello. Can we have Sadhguru's audio, please?
Recording in progress.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Once again, Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Are you able to hear me, Doctor?
Members. We can hear you, Sadhguru. Should I proceed? Yeah. So, members from media, members from my extended family, ladies and gentlemen, Sadhguru, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the Global Kashmiri Pandit Conclave, and your presence is a blessing for our community, and we immensely thank you for your compassion and empathy for us. I also take this opportunity to thank Isha volunteers, some of them are in this auditorium, for their valuable help in coordinating this session. This two-day international conference will be attended by our community members in diaspora from various states of India and abroad. Eminent scholars, academia, scientists, entrepreneurs, lawyers, media personnel, defense experts, leaders from within and outside our community will discuss some of the burning issues that our community is facing and will deliberate on the way forward. It has been 33 years since our community It has been 33 years since our community faced with an existential crisis at all levels. We had to escape with our faith and honor the land of our forefathers for thousands of years to save our religious identity. 33 years of trauma, turmoil, fragmentation, and scattering across the globe, only to receive no acknowledgement, justice, healing, and closure. We have had to first build ourselves up, unhealed, only to be told by the judiciary of this country that it was too late now. Too late to get FIRs registered, too late to initiate a white paper, too late to set up a time-bound SIT, too late to record testimonies of primary witnesses. Soon, it will be too late for anything and everything. When we, the last remaining primary witnesses, will be no more, and the subsequent generations raised away from the valley, ignorant of their heritage and insensitive to the pain suffered, will continue as if nothing happened. Political parties of various ideologies and hues have been using our tragedy to score political brownie points, but have failed to do anything concrete for us. There have been just words, words, and words. And of late, words full of insensitivity, willful ignorance, and even threats. Words that gaslight us and invalidate our lived reality. There has been no concrete action to deliver justice and restore our dignity and honor. No concrete action for our rehabilitation in the valley. No concrete action to ensure our right to life. No concrete action to empower us, to protect ourselves or provide us with security to guarantee our right to life. The action that we have seen being taken against is that of threats and arm twisting, forcing the latest generation to go back in the face of proclaimed genocide by the terrorists. Our elders and youth have been protesting for months and are still protesting. Does anyone care? Our community remains deprived of justice for last 33 years with a looming threat for our extinction. We have remained rootless and homeless for last 33 years, and every passing year and targeted killings of members brings us very close to extinction. Political parties and politicians have disappointed us and left us disenchanted. No serious engagements with the community to address our issues make us believe that the political conscience of India has written us off. Our imprints of being stakeholders are being willfully eroded and erased. Our plight and tragedy have been reduced to a number game. We had great hopes from Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, but we don't seem to figure in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas framework. Imagine the state of nation where the persecuted community not only have to build themselves up all over again on their own, and then upon being ignored and castigated to the back burner of history, have to struggle to have their trauma documented through a movie, The Kashmir Files, on their own effort, only to be ridiculed and mocked by public intellectuals, politicians, activists, and influencers who called our pain propaganda and lies. Many a times I wonder about the political and intellectual conscience of the nation. Our community has to drink this poison in silence, and we have been drinking this poison for the last 33 years. That is why, instead of any politician, we have invited our spiritual guru to this occasion, for it is only the blessings of divine that have kept us going in these 3 decades. As we remember the atrocities inflicted upon us, I urge the members of our community to never give up hope, but also don't keep any expectations from the establishments. We have to work for our poor and downtrodden brethren, for all pillars of democracy seems to have forsaken us. The judiciary has closed its doors on us, but when some doors are closed, new doors open. And even though we are disappointed, we still see a glimmer of hope in the Prime Minister Modi, who has emerged as the best Prime Minister of India. But we don't seem to figure in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It is time that we see some concrete measures being taken to engage with us, the aboriginal natives of Kashmir. Our return to Kashmir and rehabilitation with dignity and security is the responsibility of the government of India. We want development in Kashmir. We want development of Kashmir, a development that includes the common peace-loving people and ensures the elimination of radicals and jihadis. We want the land of our deities to resound with the pluralism of our faith. We want Kashmir restored to its glory. But more than anything else, we want justice delivered. I urge every Indian to become our voice and not let us be relegated to the sidelines. Let us speak up and get the Indian state to recognize the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Hindus in Kashmir, because for reconciliation to occur, there needs to be acceptance and appreciation of truth, howsoever bitter the truth may be. On this note, we all look forward to the spiritual and healing message from Sadhguru. Namaskar.
This is the pain that each one of us is going through, and I'm sure Sadhguru will enlighten us with his wisdom. Sadhguru, may I invite you to address the audience because they've been eagerly waiting for you since 8 o'clock. Sadhguru.
Kalo न जानति तव जननम कालो न जानति तव समापनम दृष्टो मया तव महाकारः योगेश्वर काल काल योगेश्वर काल काल. Namaskaram, every one of you, and I'm extremely sorry that I'm not able to be physically there due to certain engagements here, but my heart is very much with you. I have followed the Kashmir situation since mid-70s. Well, it's one atrocity after another. And I have also reasonably acquainted myself with the last 600 to 700 years of history, both the glorious aspects of it and the atrocious things that have happened. The genocide and pogroms are not just 3 decades old, been happening for 6 centuries. The demographic shift did not happen overnight. When that was happening, what should have been done, for whatever reasons, could not be done. I'm not here to blame anyone, nor am I here to say anything insensitive to those of you who already have been peeled off your skin, that anything can hurt you. You're in that condition, I understand. My words are absolutely inadequate for the empathy that I feel. This was not just done, that is, the necessary things to shore up a society and to protect things that are valuable to us. The people, the rulers, those who were invested in knowledge and the sacred institutions could not act. The world is still in a state that no one can protect and nurture anything that is of value just with scholars, sans soldiers. This is a mistake that's happened right across Hindustan, and the brunt of it has been taken by the Kashmiri people, but it's happened all across this land. When you have something of value in your home, you need a lock, you need a guard dog, and maybe you need a gun. This is an aspect that we as Hindustan neglected. With the comfort of geographical protection of the mountains around us, we lived thinking nobody will ever come and touch us. We invested in subtler aspects of life, but those who did not understand such things and those who had their own cruel agendas took advantage of us completely. I'm saying in many ways, not to insult you please, this is a case of like spilt milk, strengthening the spiritual backbone of Bharat, which is beyond religious divide and of deep humanism, which is what this culture is about, and doing whatever else that can be done economically and in terms of restoring some parts of geography at least, without putting too many people back to risk once again, is an onerous task. Some efforts are going on. I can understand Dr. Surinder saying what he said, because what efforts are going on is not important, what results have happened is important. Results are not much. Though 370, repealing of 370 was a big step, still to manifest it on the ground, to make it socially safe for ordinary people to be on the street, has not happened yet. Well, the government is trying to encourage people to take jobs. Even the labor who is going from various different states to work there, their lives are not safe. But at the same time, when nearly 85 to 90% of the population gets involved in something of this nature, very hard for security forces to control this. This needs a political and military solution. Military is out there, nearly close to 500,000 soldiers out there for many years. But you know the kind of international campaigns and narratives that have been built around you, as you already mentioned. So one important thing that I feel is we must take charge of the narrative. Well, in recent times, some cinema has been made and well, it has brought some light to people, the generation of people, the next generation beyond me, did not even know that something like this has happened, it's brought forth. But I feel still we have not taken the narrative in our hands. Our time has definitely come where our identities of geography and ethnicity need to be transcended but not lost. An identity with precious knowledge that we hold is the way forward, because with this identity and this capability, we can be who we are, wherever we are. I'm not trying to write off Kashmir, please do not misunderstand me, because it pains me to see every couple of weeks or 3-4 weeks, we are seeing two Kashmiri Hindus shot dead here, there. For me, these are not numbers. These are people like you and me. Two people shot dead, oh, just two. It's not just two lives and two families and people connected with them, everything is gone. So one thing, this may look very meager to many of you, but I'm thinking of long-term well-being of your community. We need to capture the narrative. Many more things have to be done. I think capturing the narrative, how to do it, if you are willing, I'm willing to spend a day with you, with a close group of people, how can we capture the narrative? I'm saying all across country, you can demand with the central government as a tragedy that has unfolded in Kashmir, the injustice that has been done to the people, at least to acknowledge that. There must be in every city, at least every major city across the country, there must be a street named after Kashmir, a circle or a square named after Kashmir, or there must be a Kashyapa mountain or a peak. I know these are poor substitutes, but if we want the glorious and atrocious nature of Kashmiri history to be remembered, celebrated by all in Bharat, we need to create symbols. Because going back and taking the land straight away, let us be practical about this, because recently I was with someone from your community who holds a very eminent person, who holds a significant position. He was telling me, Sadhguru, once I retire, I'm going back to Srinagar. I said, please don't do that. Because especially someone of your stature, you should not do that, it'll be somebody's pleasure to do something terrible. So we must understand that the essence of all this is, there is religious bigotry, and bigotry is written into the scriptures, and if we do not bring that narrative everywhere, if we do not say that it is this narrative that needs to change, just changing one situation, trying to fix one situation is not going to work, because we must understand from Azerbaijan to right up to Cambodia, there was Hindustan. Now it shrunk to this size. And now Kashmir is a problem where they're trying to shrink it further. So this shrinkage didn't happen overnight. The demographic change did not happen overnight. The shift in demographics is the technology. Because there are people who are committed for 100, 200, 500 years. They don't mind if their intentions are fulfilled after 500 years. They are willing to work for it. That commitment creates many cruel situations. But generally, our communities are committed to bringing well-being to people who are living here, not sending them to heaven. So having said that, but if we want this, can everything be corrected? No. Can we bring back the lives, precious lives we have lost? Not at all. But even to get back the geographical entity is very, very difficult. This making Kashmir into a union territory, I think it's a positive step. Fortunately, even the Supreme Court has validated that as a law. And many historical blunders we have done. This is the important thing we need to understand. At a given time, what needs to be done, if we don't do it and we try to do it tomorrow, it will be late for us. Mistakes that have been done, we cannot fix the past. But how do we ensure there is a future? We cannot go on being soaked in the pain and suffering of our parents, but to establish a secure and a culturally rich and identity, enjoying the identity of who we are, the future of our children, this is very important. Because I'm not saying you can forget this, I'm not saying some philosophy, don't worry, tomorrow will be okay. I'm not saying those things. All I'm saying is, I'm not a very good I'm not good at consoling people, but I've been thinking of solutions. I've spoken to various aspects of the government regarding this. But every solution that you think of, it is being beaten down by somebody because they have the narrative in the world. I think shifting the narrative is very important. I know I already mentioned one movie was made, but an hour and a half, two, whatever the length of the movie in a theater is one thing, that's fine. But I feel you need like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like ad films, taking the sufferings of individual families and highlighting it and melt people's hearts across the world. This is very important. We have come to a place in technology and reach where we don't need a theater to spread the message. Just about in everybody's phone, everybody's computer, it can be there. I think focusing on shifting the narrative is very important if we want any solutions. I understand you mentioned a timeline. All of us who have seen this suffering, who are witnesses to this, in another 20, 25 years, we may not be there. I deeply feel for this, but changing the narrative and making Kashmir visible all over the country, at least in India. Everybody who lives in India must know that this has happened to our people. Without this, if it doesn't live in the minds and hearts of people, well, so many things have happened. Absolutely terrible things have happened in this country. It's all gone. It's simply gone, as if it did not happen. The millions who died of famines which were engineered, the millions who were slaughtered, millions who were poisoned, so many things have happened, and thousands of temples which were demolished, all this forgotten, all right? Because somebody has stolen the narrative. This is a time where we must get the narrative back to truth, we must get the narrative back to some sense of historical justice. We clearly understand cannot get back everything, we cannot build back everything, we cannot be carrying grudge against people for what their forefathers did, but the narrative must be captured. Without the narrative, we will be a rootless and prideless community, which we must change. So about Kashmiris going back to their land, I know that's the dream, but every few weeks I'm seeing 2 dead, 5 dead. We don't want to see that. How to ensure this? Well, it is between military and politics, it needs to happen. Efforts are being made, but even if one person dies, we feel the effort is not enough. So many soldiers have laid down their lives, but it's not been enough. One fortunate thing is, in our neighborhood there is chaos, so the amount of support that was coming from there will be receding in the coming years, definitely. That we must make use of and ensure the cross-border support that was happening should be arrested. In arresting this, the internal security could be largely secured. To what extent, we must see, because when ordinary people who just regularly walk on the street, who go to the vegetable shop, who sit in tea shops, they have a gun at home and they once in a way, they fulfill what they think is their religious duty or whatever, it's very hard for any agency to catch all of them. Across the world, such movements have happened and they have gone on for decades and centuries. Because this is a lesson the government of India and every state government in the country, and above all the people of India, of this great nation Bharat, all of us must learn this, that if we do not attend to a problem in time, tomorrow could be too late. This is the condition where we are in. I know I have not provided any consolation, I am not using sympathetic words, but I'm telling you, my heart reverberates with empathy for every one of you. Your suffering is unparalleled in many ways in this country, but similar things have happened everywhere. At least you are at least speaking, others are not even speaking. So many things have happened. But the worst thing about you is it happened now, nearly in 21st century. And if you allow it, it'll happen right now in 21st century. So, this is the terrible thing. In independent India, this happened. As I said, I have no adequate words either to express my empathy, nor do I have a hotshot solution, just like that, this is it. I don't have either. I only have profound empathy for every one of you. If you have any questions, please.
Sadhguru, that was awesome. As you said, we need to create symbols. We need to capture narratives. We cannot fix the past, but we can ensure future. And you also said that you are going to be available for us to guide us through all this. And we feel blessed to hear it from you. We don't need sympathy, Sadhguru. We need empathy. We need addressal. We are beyond sympathy now. We are doing well, but there are so many of us who are still living in camps, not doing too well, out there on streets, fighting for their right to live. Sadhguru, thank you so much for being here with us and enlightening us with your wisdom. May I request you, if you can take a few questions from the audience, would it be okay?
Conscious about the situation in the camps, I hope Rahul Pandita is there among you, and I have read his writings and stuff. I have spoken to many people, but nothing has happened. But I'm saying, the camp situation, well, the nature of governments, you know how it is. Even if they have the intentions, they have a machinery which rolls extremely slow, not at a pace that will matter for human well-being. Generally, it rolls too slow. So having said that, I feel you can definitely, as many of you are entrenched in corporate world, you can recognize a corporation, because this camp doesn't take too much. If somebody invests a few crores per year, it could be revived and made into a a more decent and human habitation could happen in a better way, and also employment and stuff can be created. If you identify a corporation, I can also speak to some people as a part of their CSR or something, they can take up this camp and revive this. That would be a quicker solution than constantly waiting for the governments to do it.
That's exactly what we are asking for. We're not asking for sympathy. We want people to be with us. Priyatosh ji has a question for you, Sadhguru.
Pranam Sadhguru ji. The question I have is related to what everybody knows about, which is we are a rootless community now. Though we've shown resilience over these years, we are doing well, most of us are doing well, but there is a deep-seated despair which continues. Sadhguru, can you please suggest the way forward and how to overcome this trauma and how to resolve this?
As I said earlier, that our identity, because this is happening everywhere, even if there are no atrocities of this kind, in spite of that, it is happening to all communities around the world. Our identities of geography is being transcended, and our identities need to shift to our culture, our spirituality, and the knowledge base that we hold. If we do this, one of the things that we can do is all the Kashmiri Hindu youth can get involved in this. If you want the first one, I will provide you the base and the entire infrastructure is needed for you. If you want to come and do, let's say, a one-day Kashmir day in the south, we will provide you everything that you need, present your literature, present your art, music, everything, and let people come to know, and also the stories, but let the stories be of the beauty and the power of Kashmiri culture, not just of the terrible things that have happened. That also need to be said, but it's important that people vibe with you for who you are, not for just what happened, what was done by somebody else to you. What you have done with yourself, which is of significance, it's the land of Kashyap. Kashyapa is one of the seven sages. As you know, we celebrate Adiyogi and the seven sages, and we are doing a process, and some research is going on to identify the footprint of seven sages across the world, in North Africa, in South America, in Central Asia, Southeast Asia, and of course, in India. We are making efforts towards that. And if you bring the knowledge, the culture, if you cannot bring all of them as one big festival, if you bring literature, we'll provide you a base in southern India. If you bring music, we'll provide you a base, or if you come as one cultural fest, it's fine. But I'm sure similar things can be done all over the country to start with, and also around the world it can be done. But it's very important that this happens in India, that you present yourself, so that the youth will not live in despair. The youth will have something to do, and this will also be a very important part of shifting the narrative.
Thank you so much, Sadhguru. Yes, that's the kind of help, that's the kind of support we need, and we need it from you. You being the spiritual guru, we look forward to interact with you personally and get to the real solutions, so we go back to our Kashyap land. Thank you so much, Sadhguru. All of us appreciate you being here. And I would also like to thank Team Isha for facilitating this. Even though you had so many pressing things at your end, you still made it happen. We are very grateful for that, Sadhguru. Thank you so much, and namaskar, Sadhguru.
Hello, am I still on? As a part of this, as I said, in a time-bound way, if you approach this both in terms of providing a platform in major cities in southern India, we can easily gather 5 to 10,000 people minimum for you, so that Kashmir and the message of Kashmir and the glorious nature of Kashmir, and above all, the spiritual knowledge that was held and invested in the people of Kashmir, because the future of this world, what I say right now may not make sense to a lot of people because of the suffering and the kind of power that they are exhibiting right now. But this is something that I've noticed talking to the youth of the world, across the world, in the major universities, in Europe, America and various other countries. What I see is, in another 30 to 40 years' time, the dogmatic religions will recede significantly, because anything that doesn't make logical sense in people's heads will slowly recede. Already it's beginning to happen. In Europe, in the Western Europe, nearly 42% of the people say they have no religion. In UK, about 36% of the people are writing in their forms that they have no religion. 32 to 33% of the people in United States are saying no religion. This is simply because selling tickets to heaven and managing people, those times are over. Unless it makes logical sense, people are not going to ascribe to anything. This number will increase to 70 to 80% in 25 to 30 years. We can hasten it, we can make sure that happens in next 10, 15 years' time. Essentially, the entire work that I'm doing is about moving people from religion to responsibility. Spiritual process, which is the basis of who we are, which maybe over a period of time is being presented as a religion, but essentially this is a spiritual process for the inner well-being of the human being, where this is about human liberation. This is not about somebody sitting up there and you're going to go to them. This is about human liberation. This is about a human being earning the grace to function like the divine. This is about becoming the divine, not going to heaven. This aspect of attaining liberation to become free from what we are entangled with will become the most important aspect, and this will rise in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years' time. The sooner we do it, the better it is. In that context, you identifying with your knowledge, you identifying with your spirituality, in many ways is the ammunition for the future. Not that we are going to fire at somebody, but our way of doing things is to embrace the world, not to destroy the world. Our way of including people, our way of life is inclusion, not conquest. So, identifying yourself with the spiritual nature of Kashmir, the land of Saraswati and Sharada, it is important. That is what should be the basic identity. I'm saying this with utmost pain, not the mountains and valleys, the knowledge that you carry, because that is the future. Thank you very much.
Many, many thanks, Sadhguru. We really appreciate you being here with us and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you so much. A very warm welcome, Anupam ji. Namaskar. We are actually right in schedule. I would like to invite our GKPD International Coordinator, Sri Utpal Kaul, to present his views, share his thoughts about the conclave and about Kashmir. Utpalji, as most of you know, has spent his entire life as a community activist and continues to inspire us through his selfless work. A publisher, a scholar on Kashmir history, panelist, Utpalji's contribution is huge. Utpalji, the stage is yours.
Namaskaram. Yatra sosti mayamiti vivetso चंद्रमा प्रभृतिबे सहसर वै कापिसा विजयते शिवरात्रे सुप्रभा प्रसुरभा स्वरूपा। अभी सदगुरु जी हमको संबोधन करते थे और वो आदि योगी की बात करते हैं, और हम कश्मीरी पंडित अमरनाथ स्वामी की बात करते हैं। हम अमरनाथ स्वामी की भूमि से आए हैं, हम शारदा की भूमि से आए हैं, हम शारिका की भूमि से आए हैं, हम रागिना की भूमि से आए हैं। कश्मीर was is celebrated land where Vedas were written, where Upanishads were written. भारत की 30 to 40% जो लिटरेचर लिखा गया है वो हजारों साल से हमारे ऋषियों मुनियों ने कश्मीर में लिखा है, और इसीलिए इसको ऋषियों की भूमि, कश्यप ऋषि की भूमि बोलते हैं, इसको शारदा की भूमि बोलते हैं, इसको केसर की भूमि बोलते हैं। एक समय था कश्मीर में, कल्हन लिखते हैं कि हजारों हजारों की तादाद में कश्मीर में मंदिर थे। हरि पर्वत शारिका देवी के बिल्कुल सामने, हरि पर्वत के सामने, एक साइड से विष्णु के मंदिर थे, एक साइड से बौद्ध मंदिर थे, एक साइड से महावीर भगवान के मंदिर थे, और आज उसमें से कुछ नहीं है। We are victims of generational genocide, and this genocide has started nearly 800 years back. But everybody knows that we are the progeny, we are the sons of Lalta Ditya Mukta Pida. We are the sons of Samgram Raja. It was Mahmud of Ghaznavi was defeated 2 times only in Kashmir. And because of that, it took invaders 200 years, and no army, whether it was from Ghaznavi or from Central Asia, could win Kashmir, because our Lady Mountain Brigade was more forceful than the Ghaznavi forces. We are sons of that. But what happened all these 500-600 years, I don't have much time to say about that. आज कश्मीरी हिंदू जो 100% था 900 साल पहले, 800 साल पहले, आज 1% भी कश्मीर में नहीं है। We are refugees in our own country. मुझे याद है कि जब हम कश्मीर से निकले और जम्मू के गीता भवन में हमने पहली एक रजिस्टर लाई 3.5 रुपए की, और वहां से हमने रजिस्ट्रेशन स्टार्ट किया। लेकिन पहला जुलूस मुझे याद है जब हमने निकाला, 15,000 लोग थे। हम यूएन ऑफिस में गए, इवन इन जनवरी 90, ये बताने के लिए नहीं कि हमको रिलीफ चाहिए, हमने ये बताया कश्मीर भारत का अटूट अंग है और कश्मीर भारत का ताज है। We are here because we are the first citizens of India. This is our nation, and for this nation we can give any kind of sacrifice. That message we give to UN and to whole of world, and to Muslim world, and to Pakistan, and to terrorists. हमको ये भी याद है कि 10 साल कैसे 45 डिग्री टेम्परेचर में पुरखू में, जगती में, बटरबाली में और कहां-कहां कैंपों में रखा गया। और उन कैंपों में जो आप फिल्मों में देखते हैं कि लाइट पोस्ट के अंदर ये नीचे कैसे बच्चे पढ़ते हैं, आज जो कैंपों से बच्चे निकले हैं, they are heading billion-dollar companies. And I may tell you, we have nearly 500 of these successful people globally. in Middle East, in Europe, in Australia, in America, and we will provide leadership to the whole world. भगवान ने हमको जो कश्मीर में ये जो आतंक हुआ, इसकी कोई खास वजह है. We may have to provide leadership to this nation. We may have to provide leadership to whole of world. Because we have special kind of DNA. इन कैंपस से निकलकर हमको सभी अभी बोलते हैं कि आप कश्मीरियों के 100 संगठन है. क्या किसी भी कम्युनिटी में 100 संगठन है? नहीं है. I may tell you proudly, हमको जम्मू में सभा है, हम वी आर प्राउड ऑफ दैट. दिल्ली में हमारी कश्मीर समिति है, बॉम्बे में बॉम्बे की समिति है, पुणे में पुणे की समिति है, मट्टू साहब बैठे हैं बेंगलोर की समिति में. वी आर प्राउड ऑफ ऑल दीज समितिज एंड फॉर लास्ट 30 years we have constructed, we have made more than 100 temples and 100 bhavans. And कोविड में जो जीकेपीडी, केएसएफ और बाकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशनों ने जो काम किया है, वो सरदारों से, वो जीवित से बिल्कुल मिलकर है कि उन्होंने कैसी सेवा भाव से काम कर लिया है. हम शारदा भूमि के लोग हैं और आज रविंद्र पंडिता ने पूरे हिंदुस्तान में, पूरे भारत में एक बहुत बड़ा फेनोमेना क्रिएट किया है, जो माता शारदा कश्मीर से टीटवाल तक चल रही है. आज हमारे पास यहां अश्विनी साधु करके एक यंगस्टर है, हजारों लोगों को उसने बुलेट कैसे दे दिया है, कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज किया है. वी आर proud of KMCT, and I tell you, just give standing ovation to KMCT. What a great thing they are doing. KMCT is doing great job. मामूली बात नहीं है. 20 करोड़ रुपया KMCT ने 20 करोड़ रुपया 1800 पेशेंटों को ठीक करने के लिए दे दिया. So our community is extra active. बहुत ही जबरदस्त तरीके से हम पूरे समाज को, हम केवल अपने समाज के लिए नहीं काम करते, हम पूरे भारत के लिए काम करते हैं, हम इंसानियत के लिए काम करते हैं. आज ये जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज है, वो समझते हैं कि पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, हम 5 लाख हैं, 7 लाख हैं, हमको वोट की ताकत नहीं है. ठीक बात है, हमको वोट की ताकत नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान ने हमको जो दिमाग का ताकत दिया है, हम 500 करोड़ लोगों को इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं अपनी ताकत से, अपनी दिमाग से. हम 500 करोड़ लोगों को इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं इवन इन इलेक्शन. कश्मीर हमारा है और कश्मीर हम ऐसा बनाएंगे जो एक दिन हम हांगकांग को, सिंगापुर को, न्यू जर्सी को, न्यूयॉर्क को कंपटीशन में डाल देंगे. लेकिन एक हाथ से हम 2 कदम चलेंगे, सरकार को भी 1 कदम हमारे साथ चलना होगा. मुझे पता है मोदी जी इज अ ग्रेट पॉलिटिकल लीडर. ही इज आवर प्राउड प्राइम मिनिस्टर. उनको सब पता है, उनके होम मिनिस्टर साहब को सब पता है, लेकिन साहब हमको भी थोड़ा सा पता है. इसलिए कभी हमारे साथ भी मिलिए. हमारे साथ क्या इतनी नाराजगी है? हमको कश्मीरी भी आती है, हिंदी भी आती है, कई लोगों को गुजराती भी आती है. जिस भाषा में आप बात करना चाहते हैं, हम आपको बात करेंगे और अच्छे से बात करेंगे, अच्छे से समझेंगे. और जिन बातों की ओर आपका ध्यान नहीं गया है, हम उन बातों की ओर भी आपका ध्यान दिलाएंगे. हम कश्मीर के लिए हैं, हम आपके साथ हैं, लेकिन खुदारा हमको भी पूछिए, हमारे साथ भी कभी बातचीत कीजिए. क्या इतनी त्रासदी, क्या इतनी नाराजगी है, क्या इतनी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन दिखानी है? मेरा कलेजा करता है, हम सब का कलेजा करता है कि जब शिवरात्रि पर हमारे 1000-2000 नौजवानों जो उन्होंने कश्मीर में ड्यूटी ज्वाइन नहीं की, आपने उनको तनख्वाह नहीं दी. 8 महीने से वो तनख्वाह का इंतजार कर रहे. इतनी क्या नाराजगी है? इतनी क्या एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन दिखानी है कि हम जबरदस्त एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर हैं तो अपनी जगह है, हम आपके साथ हैं, हम पूरा सहयोग करते हैं, हम सब कश्मीर जाना चाहते हैं. लेकिन हमको कोई सिखाएगा नहीं कि हम कश्मीर कैसे जाएंगे, हम कश्मीर में कैसे रहेंगे। हमने कल रेजोल्यूशन पढ़ेंगे डॉक्टर सुरेंद्र कोल, और हम सब इस बात को तय करेंगे कि कश्मीर हमने जाना है, लेकिन अपने टर्म्स पर जाएंगे। जो हम सब बोलते हैं कि हम वन प्लेस सेटलमेंट पर जाएंगे, इस पर कल बातचीत होगी। लेकिन मैं बताना चाहता हूं, हम कश्मीर को एक पीसफुल, एक अच्छी ऐसी जगह जो हमारी अपनी एक आइडेंटिटी है, वो हम आइडेंटिटी बचाने की कोशिश करते हैं। न्यू जर्सी में, न्यूयॉर्क में, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, और बहरीन में भी हम बचाना चाहते हैं। बहरीन में एक ने तो मेखल कर ली, हम सब ये बचाना चाहते हैं। लेकिन हमारी आइडेंटिटी जो है, हमारी हैरत होनी चाहिए कश्मीर में। सारे हमारे every festival has its own value when it is in their own topography, own उसी अपने घर में जब हम करेंगे ये सारी चीजें, तो तब इसका एक वैल्यू है। मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं। अनुपम जी हमारे he is versatile actor, he is a versatile Kashmiri Pandit, and we are so happy he is with us and he is our energy. और अनुपम जी को मैं बताना चाहता हूं, और आप सबको बताना चाहता हूं, मैं नतमस्तक हूं कि हमारे पास अमेरिका से डेलीगेट आए हैं, हमारे पास ऑस्ट्रेलिया से, न्यूजीलैंड से, अभी अजय जी आगे जर्मनी से, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया से यहाँ आए हैं, और जगती से लेके बेंगलोर तक, मैसूर तक यहाँ पर डेलीगेट आए हैं। मैं उन सब का नतमस्तक होके धन्यवाद करता हूं कि आपने टाइम निकाला और अपनी कम्युनिटी के लिए बात करेंगे। हम अपनी बात रखेंगे, पूरी दुनिया को बताएंगे कि हम इन शिकस्त खुर्द टेररिस्टों से नहीं डरते हैं, हम पूरा मुकाबला करेंगे इनको और इनको हरा कर रहेंगे। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, वंदे वंदे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
He deserves a standing ovation. Come on, guys. Utpal ji for us. This is what Utpal ji is about. He energized the entire auditorium here. Utpal ji, Jai. Utpal ji.
चलिए, उत्पल जी तो नालमत में लग गए। यही तो उत्पल जी की बात है जो हमें बांधे रखती है जीकेपीडी में। And he is our guide, our inspiration. I have seen him since my childhood, how he used to work as an activist. और उत्पल जी ने जितना दिया है हमारे समाज को, हम सब इनके आभारी हैं। I would now like to invite Shri Rakesh Kaulji. He's come from New Jersey. He will be presenting his points about the conclave, about Kashmir, and a whole lot more. He has a lot more to say, actually. So let me introduce him to you. Rakesh ji, I'm sure most of you know, he's the best-selling author with a distinguished career as CEO of major publicly traded US companies. Rakesh ji was instrumental in the recovery from the German government of the stolen Tengapura Durga, the oldest continuously worshipped Durga in the world. 3 cheers for Rakesh ji. A human rights activist who has written extensively about politics, culture, history of Kashmir. He is also co-founder of our GKPD. Rakesh ji, please come on the stage.
Thank you, Nirjaji. I want to begin by first remembering the chairman of GKPD, Dr. K.L. Chaudhary ji, whose spirit very much ignites us. I want to thank you, Dr. Surendraji, for your Herculean efforts in bringing us together. I want to thank Ajayji for being our interlocutor with Sadhguruji. I want to thank JKVM, GKPD volunteers. You have been selfless role models. You give hope to the entire community. With Utpal Kaulji, I have a very long relationship of affection. So I want to express my deepest thanks to Dr. Advaitidni Kaulji, who is the real Shakti behind it. Dear, dear family, every time Kashmiri Pandits get together, there is deep emotion that flows within us. It is spontaneous. But in the 20 minutes that I have asked Nirjaji to give me, I'm going to talk about a very deadly subject. Over the next 2 days, we will talk about politics, justice, narrative, all Jagti, injustices to them. But I want to take a step back and I want to talk about the subject of war. Because we are in a war. And if you are in a war, then you should know what the art of war is that the Kashmiri Pandits developed to win. Because if we are not going to benefit from the art of war, then we are doomed to failure. This lens, the Kashmiri Pandit art of war,